honestly, I really think that this is a very cool way to end off the base roster for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, but I'm here with a bit of information for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. So, we got the announcement of the final character, the last DPS character that will be in the base roster, and that character is Kale. Now, it's weird because I wasn't expecting this, but I'm totally fine with it because of the fact that, one, it makes complete sense, and two, Caulifla's in the game. So to have Caulifla and not Kale doesn't really make sense. So of course, she's in, and I'm excited because the way how she works in comparison to other characters is actually kind of different. So I'm gonna break everything down. So Kale actually starts off on her base form, which is interesting because you would think that she'd at least start off on like Super Saiyan or something, right? But Kale actually starts off on her base form. So when she attacks, her attacks actually do more damage the closer she is to an ally. So because of that, that makes her paired up with Caulifla make a lot more sense, because with Kale being DPS and Caulifla being a tank, you would want to have her next to Caulifla so that way Kale can deal more damage while Caulifla can protect Kale. Which again, it sounds crazy and you guys obviously know why, but like, again, you could weaponize that. And of course, it doesn't have to be specifically with Caulifla. I'm just using those two as an example because obviously they work together in the anime and most video games. But again, it could be any tank that you want, honestly, to be able to keep her alive while she's attacking. So that could work. In all honesty, it's weird because a lot of these characters could probably work really, really well with Baby. But the thing is, I don't know exactly how that's going to work. I think that's something that we would have to test out, because I think if it works how it's playing out in my head, this could be a very powerful combination where, again, Kale deals more damage when she's near an enemy, but if Baby, like, goes, like, hops into like Kale, then maybe like she could still deal that damage because in technicality she is with her partner, right? But then obviously you have the added benefit of dealing that extra damage, because Kale would be quote unquote technically next to a partner. But Baby also has the ability to obviously bolster her defenses and attack enemies at the same time. And all of that would be mid to long range. So enemies would have a really hard time trying to escape. And I think that could be a very powerful combination. Again, that's if it works that way. But if like Baby hops into Kale and then she's just dealing like her regular damage, then I don't see that being the best option. So again, that's something that we'd have to check out, but still it'll be interesting to see like how that works. But again, she seems like very, very interesting. Like again, like her rush attack, it deals more damage when she's near allies. She has a move called Blaster Shot, which fires a barrage of blasts towards the enemy, and you can move while attacking too. So it gives her like that good long range projectile based attack, which is solid. She has another skill called Charge Force. Again, it's a long like energy blast, so just like a regular blast, if you will. But you are able to pair it up with a different move called Energy Sphere, right? So if you use Energy Sphere, it's, well, a very slow moving attack, right? And it kind of passes opponents, right? But the thing is, if you use Energy Sphere and then afterwards you follow up with Charge Force, then you actually detonate the sphere, and the sphere goes to like a horizontal pattern, right? So the Charge Force will go vertically, and then when you hit the sphere, then the sphere will explode in a horizontal pattern. So you can kind of like get enemies that are trying to escape in the cardinal directions, if you will. So that's, north, south, east, and west, right? But if they're in inner cardinal positions, that's a different story. But it could help with crowd control. So that's honestly a really cool way to utilize her moveset. But we talked about like some of her other attacks, but the most important one is her super attack. Now, characters in this game are able to transform, Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, who else? Cooler, Bojack, etc., right? Kale is able to transform in this game, but it functions completely different compared to how other characters transform. So her super attack is called Evolution Break, and that's her transformation. Her transformation is an attack. It is an attack. So when you transform, you turn into Super Saiyan Berserk, but if you're in her area of effect, then the area of effect will damage you if you're anywhere around her. The only thing I'm curious to see is, I wonder if Android 17 is capable of stopping that ult, because remember, Android 17 does have the ability to stop transformations just by attacking with his rush attack. So if it's able to cancel that, that's going to be interesting, because at that point they're going to have to rework that, because then obviously why would you use Kale? Because her super attack, we all call it like the ultimate and stuff, but like that's her like big devastating move. So if you're able to stop that, that's going to be a major problem, because 17 will heavily counter her. But I digress. So her super attack, evolution break, she transforms into Super Saiyan Berserk, and when she transforms, right, I want y'all to pay attention. She gets no attack obstruction, which means, like, once she's transformed, you can't stop her. Like, she's going insane. Now, you can damage her, of course, but you cannot stop her, which means that, for example, if you use Vegeta, because Vegeta, I don't know the name of it, but I don't know if it's supposed to be like Big Man Attack or like whatever that vacuum move that he has. Normally, like, it would, bring you to the middle and you won't be able to escape for a period of time. That's not going to work on Kale. That's not going to work on Kale. Or any moves that slow you down, or whatever case may be. Just if it hinders Kale from being able to, like, give you the hands, it's not going to work on her. So, yeah, once she's transformed, she can go absolutely berserk, right? And she gets extra HP. So that's where that extra bit of health is going to come into play for Kale, which is good. And again, imagine pairing that with Baby, where you get extra defenses. That's going to be devastating. And when Kale transforms, her long-range moves are no longer accessible, right? You can only rush in to attack your opponents. So in that regard, pairing that up with Baby to boost your defenses and give you a long-range option will help out tremendously. But there is a caveat with this, right? So again, her vanishing steps turn into like lunges that staggers enemies. Like, that's the whole aspect of her charging forward. But the caveat is her transformation is limited. So you will actually revert back to base form if, just a certain amount of time has passed, or if Kale dies. So you do want to be careful, because unlike every other character in the game that can transform, their transformations are permanent. Kale's isn't. So you do want to be careful with that. Again, after a certain amount of time, or if she gets KO'd, she will revert back to base form. But again, like I said, if you have a good tank with her, I think you can really make something special happen with like her damage output. It's gonna be like a lot of trial and error when it comes down to this character. But still, I am excited to see how Kale is going to really work out once we get our hands on Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra next week. But I do want to know what you guys thought about Kale in the comment section below. But with that being said, I'm Ndukauba, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.